every time we've no control.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. So our group video presentation is about inflation in Malaysia. Malaysia is a country in Southeast Asia with a population about 36 million. It has one of the most developed economies in the region, driven by sectors like manufacturing, services, tourism and agriculture. Key exports include electronics, palm oils and petroleum, with China, Singapore, the US and Japan as major trading partners. In early 2025, Malaysia's economy grew by 4.4% with GDP estimated between 460 and 475 billion US dollars. And most people work in the services sector and the unemployment rate is low at 3.5%. However, the country still faces issues such as youth unemployment, income inequality and the rising cost of living.
In May 2025, Malaysia's annual inflation rate dropped to 1.2%, which is the lowest level since February 2021. This shows a cooling down of price increase compared to the previous month and the market expectation of 1.4%. Food prices, which usually affect most households, rose by only 2.1%, the slowest pace in 8 months. Other areas like alcoholic drinks, housing, recreation, and education also saw slower price growth. Interestingly, some costs actually went down, including clothing and communication. However, prices still went up slightly in areas like health, restaurants, and household maintenance. Transport and financial services stayed stable. Core inflation, which includes things like fresh food and government-controlled items, rose 1.8% compared to last year. Month on month, overall consumer prices increased just 0.1%, the same as in April. Overall, the data shows that while inflation in Malaysia is easing, certain sectors still face price pressure. Thank you.
In Malaysia, price can go up for different reasons. First, if many people want to buy things but there's not enough supply, price rise. That's called demand pull inflation. Next, if it costs more to make or bring in goods, like fuel or material, businesses raise price. That's cost push inflation. When our money is weak, imported items become more expensive. That's imported inflation. Inflation means prices are going up. When this happens, people have to spend more money on things like food, transport and bills. This is very hard for families with low or average income because their money does last as long. Businesses also suffer because their costs going up. They may raise their price or reduce workers. People who save money might find their savings are not worth as much anymore. Inflation can also make people feel unsure about the future, so they spend less, and that can slow down the country economy. If inflation stays high for too long, the gap between rich and poor can grow even more.
The objective of study is to examine public policies implemented by Malaysia to address inflation. Secondly, assess the effectiveness of monetary and fiscal policies in managing inflationary pressures. Lastly, is to provide recommendations for achieving sustainable price stability. To help cut down unemployment in Malaysia, the government can create more jobs by launching large infrastructure projects like roads and public transport. They can also provide skills training programs to upskill workers, support small and medium businesses to grow, offer job placement services and social benefits for job seekers, and invest in innovation and technology to build future industries and long-term job opportunities.
Effectiveness of fiscal and monetary policy. The Fiscal Policy Committee aimed to support recovery through government stimulus and spending. The budget deficit target was adjusted from 5.4% to 6% of GDP to allow more fiscal space for health and economic support. Despite the increase, national debt remained manageable as it was mostly in ringgit and backed by local investors. Plans for a Fiscal Responsibility Act were introduced to improve financial management and long-term stability. These measures balance short-term needs and long-term sustainability, helping the economy recover from the pandemic. Bank Negara Malaysia lowered the overnight policy rate multiple times to reduce borrowing costs and boost spending. The OPR cut to 2.75% in July 2025 was the first in 5 years aimed at addressing weak demand and global slowdown. Bank Negara Malaysia also reduced bank reserve requirement to increase liquidity in the market. This action proved effective in supporting growth, maintaining inflation stability, and mitigating external economic pressure. For the recommendation, Bank Negara Malaysia should increase OPR carefully, reduce consumer spending, and control price. Balance between growth and inflation control. Maintain subsidies for fuel, electricity, and daily goods. Control price of rice, cooking oil, and petrol. Protect low and middle income households. Adjust subsidies slowly and inform public early. Avoid sudden price hikes. Monitor ringgit values to control import price. Improve tax system and reduce unnecessary spending. Encourage investment in stable price industry. Strengthen economy to reduce inflation pressure.
In conclusion, inflation remains a challenge in Malaysia with rising prices still affecting daily life. The government has taken steps to control it, but essentials like food and housing remain costly for many. Long-term efforts like boosting local production and supporting small businesses are key to easing the burden. With the right actions, Malaysia can make life more affordable and build a stronger future for all.